William & Mary's Office of Career Development and Professional Engagement presents the 26th Biennial Ferguson Blair Publishing Seminar and its playout. Day 1. What are you most interested in?
I'm most interested about everything, but I'm really excited to hear from the William & Mary alumni who are participating in this discussion and how they got into publishing.
I'm interested in seeing what genres and what works editors are looking at now and are interested in. And I'm hopeful to hear more about the inner workings of the industry, like how people think of works, what people pick up, what interests people, and whether or not editing, what that actually looks like for people, what being an agent looks like career-wise, because I think it feels very opaque when you're on the outside, so I'd love that insider knowledge.
I'm interested in just sort of hearing about the relationships and how to best develop those relationships with, be it an agent or with an editor, and sort of demystifying the world of publishing in general. Because I'm very curious, but it's not something that seems particularly accessible.
Right, yeah, I feel like demystifying is a good way to put that. Just excited to hear about the process and what to focus on at this point. I think in the last discussion, I really gleaned it's the work, it's the heart of what you're doing that you want to focus on, and so just establishing those relationships just as a person to person, human friendship versus anything that's mystified and oh, you need to do this specifically and that kind of thing was nice to hear, and I'm excited to just hear more about that.
Well, I'm Emily Fernandez. I'm an alumni from William & Mary, graduated in 2018, and now I work in publishing in New York. I'm currently an illustration agent, working with children's book illustrators, and I'm attending as a panelist this week, but also as a publishing enthusiast. I'm excited to meet everybody today and see how the new generation of publishing is doing, what they're excited for, and here to hear what they want to know about publishing as well.
What piece of advice will you be taking with you?
I think the biggest thing that stood out to me was just that the main focus of writing, or really good writing, is being vulnerable, and so it's important to make sure you know that your work is honest before you put it out into the world, and so I thought that was really inspiring, and I definitely want to put that into my own work.
So for me, the discussion on query letters and using comp titles, basically your knowledge of your genre and your peers in writing, was really important, because I think I had this idea of how you should be a unique writer and not depend on the publications of others, but I think just learning how career authors market themselves and how they interact with the market, and understanding that literature isn't as closed off as I thought it was really important, and that insight helped me be, I think, less cynical about how to promote my work and whether or not I can make it in the industry.
All right, hi everyone. First, my name is Shaima. I'm a PhD student here at William & Mary in higher ed, educational policy. So from the last panelist, I learned the difference between agent and editor jobs, and these kind of career paths, the difference between them, and if it's for me or not, or if I want to apply, so what are the requirements. Also the difference between fiction and non-fiction when it comes to your role as an agent or as an editor. So there was a lot of information about that, which is great.
Have you learned something unexpected today?
I feel like one thing that I didn't expect was specifically, and maybe I should have expected this, but like the timeliness. Like you really, really need to know the market, and you really, really need to know what's going on in the literary world in order to market yourself. So definitely have some reading to do.
Yeah, I was also sort of surprised to hear how sort of extensive and long-term a lot of these relationships that you're going to be building are. So I guess not leading with sort of too much. It's sort of like a good date or something. You don't want to lay on too much.
Immediately, yeah. That's a good metaphor.
Day 2. What network opportunities or new connections have you gained?
I made so many new connections with different alumni who work in different areas in publishing too. I think everyone I talked to was in a different field, and then they helped educate me on what they did, but also on resources on how I can get involved with that, and different connections definitely with networking.
I've had a lot of chances to speak to a lot of professionals in the industry, which has definitely helped me gain an understanding of what day-to-day life actually looks like. And understanding even like specific aspects like moving from Williamsburg to New York, which was something very relevant to publishing.
Yeah, and just meeting people and hearing their stories about like how they got involved in the industry is very eye-opening, and it makes it seem like it's something that I could do too.
What do you think was the most thought-provoking moment?
Hello, I'm Tiara Key. I'm an English major. This is my junior year, and the most thought-provoking moment was for me was the diversity panel. Just to, as a writer, to know that it's kind of hard to get my voice out there due to the lack of diversity in the publishing field. So that was thought-provoking for me.
I thought the most thought-provoking moment was listening to the alumni panel, listening to them interact with the students, especially because they were those students just a couple years ago. So sort of seeing like, oh, this is what they've done in the last 2, 3 or so years, and like this is where they've been able to go from, just being a graduate of the college, and then being like their editorial assistants, their associate publicists. Like they've been able to make all this progress, all these great strides in just a few years.
What's one thing you'd recommend others do following this panel?
So a lot of the panelists have recommended that students do their reading and keep up to date with the bestsellers and just be familiar with the current marketplace. So I definitely have added a lot of things to my to-read list. So I'm gonna get reading.
And I think a lot of them have mentioned that when they were getting into the industry, they weren't super aware of all the different publishing agencies and houses. And were given a pamphlet with all of their different job descriptions, and being able to look at that and kind of research different job opportunities, being prepared going into applying for jobs is something really helpful.
What was your favorite part of the seminar?
My favorite part so far was hearing from the keynote panel, the editors and the agents. I feel like just generally the seminar has created a lot more awareness about the publishing industry and has just made it feel a lot more accessible to William & Mary students, which I appreciate.
I think I really enjoyed being able to speak with a lot of the alumni one-on-one, and being able to bond over attending the same institution, and I think asking them questions that pertain to their experiences here and how those experiences defined the way that they got into their specific industries.
It's great to connect with all these inspiring, curious, eager students to help them imagine a path into book publishing. My field, I did this seminar in 1990. I'm a William & Mary alum, graduated BA in 90, MA in 91, and I wouldn't have the career I have if it weren't for William and Mary, and specifically the Ferguson Blair Seminar. So I'm very grateful, and I love coming back and connecting with students and helping some of them find a way into the same field.
My favorite part of the seminar was getting to hear directly from students and answer the questions so that I, as an alum, can be more clued into what their hopes and dreams are, what their fears and concerns are as they start and take the first steps into their careers and internships and their post-grad jobs. I think it's really important as an alum to be aware of what's happening on campus, aware of what students are focused on, and how we can best be supportive of them as they take this important step in their careers.
We hope you join us in the next Ferguson Blair Publishing Seminar. See you next time!